For the pastels, I also take a bigger board. It's about a 16 by 20. It just fits into my suitcase. The best part about this is not only can I do larger works on it, but it is my clothes press. Keeps all my clothes neat and tidy, holds them in place. Of course, I'm going to make a new one because this one's got rather grotty and it would paint my clothes more so than keeping them pressed. Okay, so that's just 2 sheets of foam core paper, again with my pieces of paper and glassine and the bulldog clips with the fold over wings to hold it all in place. Everything stays as secure as, and you can travel all across the world with your pastels, stack one on top of each other with the glass in between, and it will be as safe as. Now, we're going to be doing a little bit of pen and wash too, and sketching, of course. It's always good to sketch. And I particularly like drawing with the pen. And so these are some of my travel little diaries from previous years. This was from a trip to France, and this is the town square of Montpazier. All done in ink, little ink pens, waterproof and fade proof as well. And then I might go in and do some little watercolours, this type of thing, very, very simple. Or just do some line with my pen and drop in colours, as I've done here. And so these are great to just keep as memories, keep as your diary, and sometimes you come up with a real little special one anyway that you might like to frame when you get home. So I've got various watercolour books. Now I would suggest to you that you at least get a 300 GSM watercolour book, because there's nothing worse, or sketchbook for that matter, because there's nothing worse than starting to put watercolour on paper that is too lightweight and then it buckles on you. So get at least a 300 GSM, maybe, what is this one? Can't read it, but it's fairly sturdy. It's certainly not 180, it's a bit thicker than that. Alright, okay, so there's the size of the little travel diary type of watercolour books that I get. I like the ones on the spiral, because that just helps with the ease of opening it up and flipping it round to the back, and rather than pieces of paper falling out all the time. Now, my watercolour brushes and pens and pencils and erasers and things are all kept in this little nifty thing, and I can roll it out. Inside here I have a face cloth or some sort of washer, and that's to help me control the amount of water on my brush. I have various sized brushes and a little tiny skinny one as well. Various sized brushes, but you don't need to have all of those. That's really, you could get away with just one brush as long as it produces a decent point when it's wet. I have my pencils, I have an eraser just in case I make a mistake, and I have my waterproof pens. That means that I can drop the watercolour in over my drawing should I want to do that. Okay, so that all neatly rolls up and very, very easily tucks into your kit bag. So it rolls up like that and all stays together. Okay, now various options for doing watercolours or taking for your watercolours. You've got this little Winsor & Newton type of a style of watercolour pan set. It closes up something like this, with this on top. Okay, so it's that size to carry, which is great, really, really easy to take with you. It then folds out. It's got little pallets, the water bottle, a little water bottle in which the water comes, you can keep your water in. It's got a tiny little brush, but I find that little brush is a little bit too little for me. And the lid of it then sticks on the top there for your water container. So that's very, very useful. I find the pans a little bit limiting, so I do like to have a bigger palette, and I take some tubes of watercolour paint with me to fill my palette. This gives me bigger options for mixing my colours too, should I want to. Although working on this small, I guess you don't really need it. I also keep a little washer in there which would be damp to keep my colours nice and wet and moist as I work from day to day. Another handy thing, of course, is to have some wet ones to keep your fingers clean, especially for the pastelist when you're pasteling, because there's nothing worse than thinking, oh, I'll go to a restaurant now and have a cup of coffee after you've finished your work, and then you look at your hands and you think, no, I won't. I look disgusting. So you can get your wet ones, keep a packet of wet ones, or you could, if you can't get wet ones, get a damp washer and bring that with you to clean your hands up before you go and have your coffee. Also, always carry masking tape. Masking tape's a great thing for holding everything down, especially your paper. And I'd be masking things down on my board before I left the motel or wherever I was staying, so that my paper's not going to fly across the paddock or into the lake or whatever, and I'm all ready to get on with my work. I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in Greece. Not long now. See you then.